Okay, I'm ready. So after this demonstration, I'm hoping that everyone will be able to cook eggs a little bit better, be able to plate food a little bit nicer, and just have the opportunity to see what it's like to cook from a real chef. So eggs are pretty cool. I have a little story about them. A guy named Dr. Jacob at the University of Kentucky did a study and found out that, have you ever seen blue eggs, blue or green eggs? So these eggs from chickens actually were a result of a virus that hit them. They were some chickens from South America in Chile, and what happened was their RNA was actually changed, and because of this, every single chicken after that is now this different species that is able to produce blue eggs. So today, I brought in specifically all the way from Chile, we have some blue eggs for everyone. And these eggs were genetically designed hundreds of years ago just for this one presentation. Now, I have been cooking for around 2 years now. I just kind of taught myself off YouTube, but then I was able to get a job at a real restaurant named Fargo Lake House back home. And at this place, we cook things like pork chops, steak. I did salads for a long time, just worked my way up all the way from dishwasher to cook. And then I was line chef with my best friend. We both just started enjoying cooking a lot, and we're able to make all sorts of different things. We have some of the most infamous burgers in town, house-made meatloaf as well, that it's nothing like your mom's or your grandma's, and it's just something that is started to be a passion of mine. Now, I don't cook normally in these type of clothes, so you dress up for the presentation, but then you strip down for the real work. So you gotta take the clothes off, you throw them to the side, and this is how you get around the fact that that you have to dress up for something. Now, I would come in from school, and all I would do is I'd strip down and I'd get ready for work. It looked like I'm gonna go work out or something, but really this is what I'm gonna be wearing to be a chef. So, eggs. First thing you wanna do, you drop them in a pot. Make sure that you're not cracking the yolk. This pot is cold right now. You want to make sure to keep everything intact. You don't want to pre-mix scrambled eggs. If you do, I'm looking at my towel. If you do pre-mix scrambled eggs, they're going to get watery. And once they get watery, then you've lost your scrambled eggs. For each bit of egg, you're going to want to put in about a tablespoon of butter. A teaspoon of butter, and then put that bad boy in high heat. So I'm gonna slap it on up to high heat, and now you gotta start mixing. Scrambled eggs, you cannot stop mixing. And if you stop mixing, might as well throw them out because they're not gonna be good. So you gotta get your butter start going. So you got a big chunk of butter in there, and you have a lot of egg. It's gonna look bad. And a lot of people might think, oh, I want my eggs like very hard, I want them over hard. If there's any substance left, then it's not good. No, that's totally wrong. You've never tried a good egg then. So you got to keep on mixing. The purpose of eggs are anything. You can put eggs in literally anything while being a chef. And they always add some sort of extra. So this butter is starting to melt down now. I'm always scraping the bottom of the pan. If you stop scraping the bottom of the pan, you're going to get hard, just chunky eggs, and you don't want that. You want to be a smooth, creamy texture. So continue doing this. Your eggs are going. Now, I've had this on over here for a little bit. I wanted to get it heated up. Take my olive oil. I'm going to take this off for a second because I don't want it to overcook. Put a generous amount of olive oil in. You want to coat that bottom. So now you're coating the bottom over here, and you got a little bit extra oil. Running that around. You take your flat cap mushrooms. Come on, continue mixing those eggs. Don't forget about it. So you take the flat cap mushrooms. You want to take a knife. You want to make sure, these are portobellos, you want to make sure that you get that stem out and toss those in, whole. Continue mixing, don't stop. So our butter is finally melted down. It was slightly cold. You hear that little crackle? It's gonna start coming, you'll start hearing it. It'll start hitting you in the face, you gotta run away because you don't wanna get burned. So you're always mixing. Now all of a sudden you're like, oh, I want some tomatoes too, so you pop some of those bad boys in. Now, to be honest, there's probably too many, so we take them out. But really, I really like getting tomatoes right off the vine. You go out, I have a little garden. You have some tomatoes, pick them off the vine, you take those, you lay them in. You got 6 tomatoes there perfectly. Today, I wasn't able to find any vine tomatoes, but that's okay because they still taste the same. Your eggs are finally now cooking up, making sure that heat is all the way on, stirring, swiping, wiping, liking, getting a Tinder date, all that good stuff. But you gotta make sure you keep on moving. Then all of a sudden, you're like, oh, I need toast for this. Because a true breakfast is not complete without a little bit of bread. But you don't get any bread. This bread's pre-sliced. I like to get a nice large slice if I can. If I can't, that's okay too. Turn that up, hold that down. So these are actually gonna cook themselves. You don't wanna even do anything with them. Our eggs are finally starting to get a little bit there, but I want this heat up a little bit more. It's taking a little longer than expected, but that's okay. And butter is almost gone. Okay, good. So now, salt, pepper. Move those around a little bit. Get that nice on the bottom. Okay, you hear that little crispy. That olive oil is doing its job. I didn't preheat this pan. Normally I'm working with fire, so a lot of times you're gonna have like flames coming up. You want to add some whiskey to it. All of a sudden you have like a big old blaze. But like that's not legal for George Fox. So right here, I'm just trying to make sure these eggs get up to temperature before I start taking them on and off. If you're working at home with a flame in the kitchen, then these are gonna take like 3 minutes. If you're working with a flat top like this, it's gonna take a little bit longer. So you need that pan to heat up quick. And these eggs are still quite runny, but that's okay because our mushrooms are still going over here. One of the coolest things about cooking is just like the ability to be creative. If you're not being creative while you're cooking, then it's just not as fun. You can follow a cookbook to like so many extents. You can figure out something from Pinterest, but really, if it's not you putting yourself into whatever you're creating, then is it really worthwhile? Okay, awesome. Look at this. We're starting to get a little bit of thickness with those eggs. I'm wiping the bottom, dripping a little bit, wiping that up later, and it gets messy. It gets messy in the back. And okay, take it off. 30 seconds. Wipe the bottom. Let it cool. Put it back on. 30 more seconds. Wiping the bottom, making sure that these are up just a little bit more because I need them to be done by the end of the presentation. Pulling them off, continue stirring. That's my first main point. Never stop stirring. Never stop swimming. Never stop doing anything that you want to get done. Another thing, salt and pepper. Do not salt and pepper your eggs until you are ready. Okay, toast. Flip that bad boy around. Pop her back in because you want it to be nice. When you're stirring your eggs, back to salt and pepper. So with salt and pepper, you don't want to actually put any salt and pepper in or it makes the eggs watery. It breaks down the membrane and it breaks down the egg, and that creates a watery egg. So we're getting near the end of cooking the egg. That's fine, we're actually done. So we're getting towards the end of cooking the egg. Take it off, getting a little bit too hard. Now, the consistency is a little bit thicker. And with that, you're almost ready to salt and pepper your eggs. But one thing you can do before that is actually turn the heat down just a tad bit, sour cream or creme fraiche. Just about a tablespoon. And what this does, it takes your eggs to heaven. Instead of like halfway there. This is adding a lot of creaminess to them. A lot of times, most things do not need anything added extra. Like these mushrooms and tomatoes, you can just leave them there and they're gonna do its thing. But with these eggs, you actually, adding that sour cream just cools it down, allows it to not overcook. I might add a little bit right before we plate them as well. So we're finally getting something a little bit more egg-like, but it's still really creamy. You're thinking, wow, this guy is crazy. These eggs are raw. They're not raw. They're just creamy. But we're not gonna plate them yet. So finally we can add that salt and pepper. Keep mixing them, keep stirring them. These eggs are 30 seconds away, take them off. they're continuing to cook. All the heat is in the bottom of the pan. They're continuing to cook right here. They're going to cook on your plate because they still have that heat. A little bit more, turn the heat back up. Be generous with the heat. As long as you're playing with it, as long as you are allowing it to speak to you as you're mixing, you're going to be fine. These eggs are right there at the end. I'm just going to let them cool down. They're going to continue to cook just a little bit. Okay, they're still cooking right here. So now you have your toast. Olive oil. A light drizzle. Okay, your tomatoes are almost ready. You take your eggs. Okay, one last little heat. Yep, they're ready to go. Taking those. Making sure I want those to go a little bit longer. Now with this though, take your chives.
Hey, you gotta wrap it up.
Okay.
Sorry. Another class coming in here in a minute.
Go bring it to mom, Mother's Day. Go bring it to your girlfriend. Go bring it to your boyfriend. Go give it to Mr. Brad. You got it all. So,
Awesome.
right there. If you could just try them out for us. Do you like eggs? I don't know. If not, someone else gets to have the first try.
I do like eggs. Those are good. Those are really good. All right. All right, good stuff. Awesome. I will see you guys Monday. We will try to roll.
I know, I forgot, bro.